You know what this absolute power event is showing me? Rogue would run the league.
And respectfully, I disagree. I don't think Rogue is running through the Justice League, and I don't think the Amazo robots are a good comparison for Rogue. I'll tell you why. But first, everyone, please go give my boy Head of X a follow. He is without a doubt one of, if not the best Marvel creators on this app. His legitimacy, his knowledge, and his research is second to none, and I consider him the authority on mutants. With that being said, I don't think Rogue's running through the Justice League. Hell, there's a couple members I don't think she's going to be able to take on, and I'll show you one of them in this video. Seeing I'm on a Hal Jordan kick as of recently, how about we take Hal and show how Rogue is doing nothing to the greatest Green Lantern of them all. First, let's dive into Rogue's powers a little bit. We know from Uncanny Avengers Annual, issue number 1, that while absorbing the Ghost Rider, the Spirit of Vengeance, the powers of the Ghost Rider were so overwhelming for Rogue that she had to give that shit back. And we know from Avengers 686, No Surrender, that while absorbing the powers of the Hulk, Rogue was so overwhelmed that she was doing the best she could to keep herself in check. This shows that while Rogue can absorb almost anyone's powers, it doesn't necessarily mean she can control them, especially if the powers are overwhelming or are connected heavily to a said individual. Now let's talk about Hal. We know from Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps issue number 39 and issue number 40 that Kyle Rayner got possession of Hal Jordan's ring. This is the one that was made of Hal Jordan's will itself. And Hal Jordan's willpower is so overwhelming that not even the Torchbearer could use it successfully. It started to imprint Hal Jordan on him, started overwhelming him and taking control. Similar to the Ghost Rider with Rogue, Kyle Rayner could not handle that will. And that is all Hal's will. And just like the Hulk, his willpower is so vast and so overwhelming. In Green Lantern issue number 20, Volthoom says that Hal Jordan is a stronger focus, a stronger nexus of willpower than the central battery itself. I would say that absorbing Hal Jordan's will would be a bad idea. Similar to the Hulk, it probably would overwhelm her because of how strong of willpower that Hal Jordan has. Or, number 2, similar to Ghost Rider and Kyle Rayner, it might just start controlling her. It may be too much for her because it's connected to Hal. But let's just say that she does. Say she's able to control that willpower. We know from Green Lantern issue 168 that Hal Jordan at any time can just reabsorb his willpower because it's his willpower. And that's the important thing. It's his willpower. In issue number 2 of Green Lantern, we find out from Sinestro when he created a ring and gave it to Hal, this ring created of Sinestro's will. Hal's first thought was to blast and kill Sinestro. And Sinestro states he cannot be hurt by his own will. Green Lanterns cannot be hurt by their own willpower. And let's just say it isn't his will. Let's just say she copies his powers, right? And it's her own willpower. Even though we saw from Ghost Rider and Hulk that's not necessarily always the case. Let's just say it's her own willpower. Green Lantern issue number 48, Hal can absorb other people's will or their constructs. This is later supported in the most recent run of Green Lantern, issue number 1. While this cat here has this Manhunter armor powered by Owen Will, Hal Jordan is able to absorb that and make a ring out of it. And we have to understand, from the Green Lantern, Season 2, issue number 12, Hal Jordan can absorb energy fully and completely at unlimited amounts. So not only can he reabsorb that shit, but he can do so instantly and completely. And the Amazos are made to counteract the Justice League. They are specifically designed to copy their abilities. But if she's absorbing the abilities, then we could even question whether she can do it to Hal. In Green Lantern issue number 62, Corona, who has the will entity ion in him, says he manipulates and controls willpower, but he couldn't control Hal's. And in JLA issue number 1, while fighting a younger Justice League, we have Parasite absorbing Hal Jordan's powers, which he says should not be possible. Wonder Woman's powers, and the Flash's powers. And despite this, Hal Jordan is still able to lay hands on him. I would say using the Amazos are not a best comparison, because here's the thing, the Amazos are specifically designed to counter the Justice League. They are basically prep-timed. But even then, we see that the Amazo robot that was specifically designed to deal with the Green Lanterns, Alan Scott, is just absorbing that energy back. And it's not even that much of a problem for Hal. We see with Super Amazo from Justice League issue number 23 that Hal Jordan is able to blast his load all up inside Amazo so much that Amazo had to use Martian Manhunter's powers to retreat. Putting aside Hal Jordan, just how many times has the Justice League fought people like Amazo? Or Superman fought people like Parasite? Fighting people like Rogue is nothing new to the Justice League. They've done it throughout their whole entire inception. But here's the thing, Rogue is not a Justice League level threat. She's not even a Hal Jordan level threat. And it's not just Hal. Those Amazo robots were built by Zur, who has Batman's prep time and knowledge on the Justice League. They're specifically designed to stop the Justice League and absorb their powers completely, even though we've seen with Alan Scott that may not be the case. But in Justice League issue number 5, you tried to absorb the Flash's powers, tried to take his speed force. We know for a fact that Flash can just take that shit back. So when it comes down to Hal, if she absorbs his willpower, it probably would overwhelm her, or even start manipulating her. Or number 2, if she absorbs his will, he's just going to take that shit right back. Or number 3, if she creates her own willpower using his powers, he's just going to take that shit back. Or, on top of that, his willpower can't hurt her. Any attack she uses, not going to mean jack shit. And on top of that, we've seen that even people like Amazo, who has the powers of the Justice League, well, Hal is just going to blow that load right up in her. Let me end off with a quote that I think all Rogue fans will appreciate. His name is Hal Jordan, Shuddy. Remember it. And again, love and respect to Head of X. Please give him a follow.